We are back here for another series previewing fall camp position group linebackers. We're going to name the best linebacker of the group, as well as the name a breakout player and the top freshman. I am very curious to see where you're going to go with this one, David, because this is the group that I feel is the weakest on the team heading into fall practice. I think they've got a lot of question marks. Very curious to see who steps up. But as it stands, or what your thoughts are with this group, who is the best linebacker?
E. Um, can I pick? Can I go with the striker?
Yeah, we have not talked about where strikers are going to fit. I was going to put them with defensive backs, but they do play
Okay.
close to the line of scrimmage. Let's save it with that defensive backs because
Okay.
most of them have that background more as a defensive back.
Oh, best linebacker. I guess I will go. I mean, I don't know what his availability is going to be this year, quite frankly, to start the year, but I guess I'll go with Sam Brooks. Um, I don't know. That's who I go with.
See, I was struggling with it too because last year, who would it be last year? It'd be Bradley Jennings, right? But it definitely feels like Corey Flagg is going to take over at that spot. I still have a lot of question marks with Corey. I want to see more. I want to see more of his ability to go sideline to sideline. There were plays at times where I felt like he didn't make enough plays, but year
Sure.
two for him, you're hoping he takes that step up. And I know he's a confident guy. I do feel like the coaches like him.
Yeah.
I felt like the way they talk about him, the way I feel like they do have expectations for him. I feel like they like what he brings to the table. I'm going to name Sam as my breakout player, and I felt a little hesitant on where to go
Yeah.
with that because if I'm going to name him the breakout guy, does that mean he's the best linebacker? So it's very curious to see how Sam's going to fit in because last year it wasn't a positive year for him in terms of being healthy and on the field quite a bit. But if you remember a couple years ago, he does well, or he racks up tackles in the bowl
Right.
game. I know that then linebackers coach, defensive corner Blake Baker was intrigued by Sam from that performance. But we'll see. Maybe this is going to be um, Sam's breakout year. We'll see. I think he could be the breakout guy of the group. I think there are other guys. Avery Huff is a guy that everyone's been waiting on. You mentioned, we talked about Corey Flagg. Is Wayman Steed going to take a jump? You just kind of wonder where this is going to go. But I think there's without question two guys need to step up and be reliable guys. I don't think this. I think it'll be a struggle if they can't pick out two guys that are better than the other two or
Yeah.
better than
So
the rest of the group.
I guess my breakout, I'm just going to double down on the same position, the weak side spot, because I agree. Like I think Corey's probably going to be the middle, um, and so I think because Sam is coming back from a toe thing, right? Um, and so whether or not he's going to be a full go at the start of camp, we'll see. Um, but I think if he's not a full go, there's a good chance Keondre Smith, who played striker last year, gets a real shot to show what he can do at weak side. There are size concerns there with Keontre. Of course, he's probably more of a DB body type in terms of safety, but he is aggressive. He is fast. He has a nose for the ball. To me, the question with Keontre is, can he get off blocks when those offensive linemen or tight end engage him um, in run blocking? Can he get off those blocks and still make tackles or impact the play in some way? Um, I like Keontre, quite frankly, at weak side compared to striker. So I'm here for the experiment. And so I guess I would nominate him as a breakout guy. But as you alluded to, I think linebackers just totally up in the air. Even like I think we assume Corey Flagg's going to be the middle linebacker. That's probably going to be the case. Um, but if BJ Jennings has a strong camp, he could definitely win the job. I think if Sam Brooks, if they plug him in there, if he's healthy and ready to go, give him a shot at middle. I mean, he's kind of played it before. Um, I'm with you on Wayman Steed, quite frankly. I would not I would be surprised, but I would not be shocked if he emerges as one of the guys at weak side linebacker. So again, the to me, the biggest thing with this linebacker group is who's going to separate from the pack. Because right now, to me, it's just a bunch of guys. Um, who's going to separate from the pack, the two guys, and kind of emerge as at least better than the rest. Because right now, I honestly, I couldn't tell you.
And I think what stands out to me too, and kind of just going off what you're saying there, because I agree, but I think what stands out is you can't really identify necessarily an ultimate talent guy from the recruiting ranks. Look, most of these guys were similar recruits as prospects. They weren't these. It wasn't a Leonard Taylor type recruit at linebacker. It's not like you can just
Right.
automatically point to a young guy and you're just waiting on him. Whereas the other positions on the team, maybe if a guy gets the experience, you like the talent. But I think a lot of these guys were similarly regarded guys coming out of high school. So that's what makes it a little bit more difficult. It's not just about experience. I think they're just kind of similar in talent, I think, levels. So, guys
Let me
will
ask you
emerge.
this.
We'll see.
So on the roster, he's listed at striker, right? Chase Smith. I think in the spring game, he played some weak side though. And, against the third team, which, obviously a way different level, but you can still see he has the speed. Um, he has the body type you want at linebacker. Is it crazy to think he could crack the two deep as a true freshman?
No, and I remember watching the spring game, cutting up his film, cut up everybody on the team essentially, and he was making plays, and you like that.
Right.
I think when we weren't able to be out there for spring ball, but seeing him in person over the summer, you got to see his height
Yeah.
in comparison to his other guys. So again, you see what he's listed at, but actually seeing him in person, you feel like that's there, and I feel like he's going to be a linebacker
Right.
at some point in his career. I think sooner would be the best.
Right.
It wouldn't be surprising to me because I think athletically he's there and he makes plays. Sometimes you have guys that are athletically there, but they just don't make enough plays. And I think he's got both, and I think that it wouldn't be surprised at all to see him go ahead and make that move soon because I think he's a guy that can make plays, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. And kind of going back to Keondre again, aggressive player that
Yeah.
likes to that can play in space a little bit there. But like you said, he's got question marks. So it's a very intriguing group, and some guys are going to have to step up. There's no question. Otherwise, they're going to get ran all over once again, like they did against UNC, and
Right.
certainly nobody wants that to happen again. So there'll be a lot of emphasis on this group. Avery Huff is a guy that, once again, I know fans are excited. He was one of those guys that was maybe a little bit more highly regarded as a recruit coming in, but we got to see it. We got to see it. This is year 3 for him, so it'll be interesting. There's no doubt about it.
Let me ask you this before we get out of here. So I found it interesting at ACC Media Days, Manny Diaz basically said, yes, there's no doubt the linebacker play has to be better, but he also brought up the point, in his opinion, the defensive tackle play needs to be more consistent. And if that happens year over year, there will be a trickle down effect, essentially, that the linebacker play will then improve as well. Do you buy that at all?
I think there's a chance the defensive tackle can be better. There's a better chance that play can be better. Whereas at linebacker, it's hard to say that group is automatically going to be better. So I think you just put more pressure there, but certainly at least up the middle. But we're talking about runs to the outside. How the
Yeah.
defensive tackles can certainly force backs to the outside in the running game, but linebackers, if you're playing 2 linebackers, they got to have enough speed to get out there, enough ability to get off blocks. So I think I understand what he's saying. I think maybe he's hoping that the defensive
Right.
tackle can,
I think there's more talent
overshadow,
there. So I think
right,
he's
more
saying,
potential.
right. So, which I think there's a fair point, but the bottom line is the linebacker play also just needs to drastically improve, where the defensive tackle play, yeah, they can improve, but it's not drastically improve like linebacker, in my opinion.
And lastly, before we wrap this, true freshman, top guy of this group, who do you got?
Well, can I go Chase already? I already said him. Can I go with
Yeah.
him?
Yeah, that
Oh,
works. Make that switch. I think Deshaun Troutman, I'll go with him. Just a little bit of flash that we saw in the spring, kind of some stuff that he did in high school. So I'll just go with him. But certainly I like Chase, but Troutman is definitely a linebacker, so I'll stick with him. But I certainly would put Chase over Troutman at this point
yeah.
if he does make that change. But definitely an interesting group. That's what fall practices are all about.
Yeah.
Guys have to emerge, and the guys know they know that they're a group that has to be better than a year ago.
Got to step up.